Well, my focus for this presentation is to modeling health benefits from air pollution control in urban China. Because air pollution is very terrible in China, and some studies have reported that if the air pollution can be controlled, we could observe some health benefit. So we propose to conduct a modeling study to look for the health benefits from air pollution in China. Well, I found if the, in Beijing Olympic Games, some measures will be taken out, and we observe some significant air improvement. We assume if the Beijing Olympic Game air pollution target can be achieved, we could save nearly 90,000 CVD deaths by 2030. From epidemiology study and experimental study, they have found long-term exposure to high level of air pollution, the CVD mortality, the cancer or stroke mortality, they all increase to some extent.
We don't know the details. We know, scientists do know the sources of some of this air pollution. Some things have to do with the geography of a city like Beijing that can't be changed. Things like particle material from the Gobi Desert, that can't be changed very easily either. But there are a lot of human factors like the burning of coal and automobile emissions that could be controlled by government policy. And we know that air pollution has been controlled to a large degree in places like Los Angeles in the United States and Mexico City in Mexico. So there are past examples of successful policy. Well, another example that was recently, both Chen and I read an article that was published in the New York Times about the experience of air pollution in London, England, where the levels of air pollution were actually at the severity that we're seeing in China in the 1950s after World War II, and a lot of coal was being burnt in houses at that time. And there they took drastic measures to improve air quality and save lives. So even in cases, there have been cases as severe as what we're seeing in China now, and policy did matter in that case also. Yes, it's true that China has focused much of its energies on economic development and achieved extraordinary economic gains in the last 2 or 3 decades. However, it will be difficult to meet a lot of the environmental challenges, including air pollution. However, we have seen that the Chinese government, when the government has set its mind to achieving something, they have achieved extraordinary policies and changes. So if there's one country that can do this, certainly China is on the list.
For the Chinese government, they have already realized the severe air pollution. So our government has already set out our goals to improve our air quality. I'm not sure if the goal can be achieved or not in a very short time, but I think it is the right time. It's the time to think about the health benefit, the health problem, the health of air pollution. If you don't care about this health problem, you just focus on the economic growth, you will not think about the health burden. So we propose these issues and let the government think about, and whatever policy they will take out, I think they will make some difference. It is actually the first study in my research team in terms of air pollution, and this is, as we mentioned, it's a modeling study. We actually meet some limitations for this study. We addressed the long-term PM 2.5 exposure, and we didn't take any other pollutants into our model. And because we could not address the variations of PM 2.5 across the whole China's cities, we would like to further study the association between air pollution and health outcome among Chinese people. We will soon finish our study and submit to a journal. And actually, my domestic mentor in China is a very well-known epidemiologist in China, and we would like to provide our findings to some government officials and let them know our results. And if it is possible, we would like to have some scenarios, some conference meetings. We could invite the environmentalists, some officials, some industry bosses to attend these meetings. We could have a discussion together and to think out any more practical measures to address these questions. For the Chinese people, I think we could start to buy cars with device that can lower the pollutants emissions, because in China, like Beijing or Shanghai, the traffic is very crowded, so many cars. If we could add some devices that lower the pollutants emissions, then it will help, I guess. I think because the Chinese government has already set the air pollution goals to achieve by the next 5 years, so I don't think nothing will do for the Chinese government. And what we want to provide is some scientific findings for them. If we could add some evidence, they say, I really should do that, then they will have more reason to take out the measures. For the air pollution, I think our government are capable to achieve the goals. As we see the Los Angeles, London, and any other cities, they have achieved their goal of air quality improvement. So I think as long as we realize this problem and we could take their experience from developed countries, and we could do that. I'm comfortable with that.
I think there are a lot of lessons for what's going on in China, both in terms of some of the risks of air pollution and other environmental problems, but also there's the potential to learn from policy interventions that are carried out in China. In terms of other cities outside of the United States, well, I mean, we have these examples like I gave you. Within the United States, we have the example of Los Angeles, where there have been studies showing that in terms of lung disease and lung health, that children's health have been documented to improve since air quality improved in Los Angeles. We have the example in London. They have achieved remarkable improvement in air quality at the end of the 20th century, but now they're having problems again because of automobile traffic. So it'll be interesting to see how cities like New York and Los Angeles react to the continuing problem of automobile emissions and other pollutants. And I think it's a shared problem, sort of like global warming. It's a problem that affects everyone around the world. So whichever city is being innovative and coming up with solutions to control air pollution, that city will be the leader. And whether it's Beijing or New York or London, the other cities will soon follow, because when citizens see that their health is affected, they're going to demand that things change.